Man, that was so freaking good. I have so many notes right now on my computer. That was so clear, concise, the best I've ever heard you, Shondell. For real. Just amazing. So, anyways, once Shondell is pretend me and Shondell are the same trainer, okay, guys? Because once I would go into quoting, I always ask the client these series of questions so that I can transition the floor to the trainee to actually ask the rest of the questions for the referrals. If you guys can mute yourself, please, Tashe. Thank you. So let me share my screen. So Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I'm gonna crunch some numbers for you, but so far, did you feel comfortable, Samir, with the way that we presented ourselves?
Yes.
Awesome. Did we answer all of your questions regardless of whether or not you asked them?
Yes.
Awesome. And did we provide any value to you today at all that you feel other families need to know about?
Yes.
Awesome. The reason why I'm asking is because my biggest responsibility is to not just help you, but help trainee Tasha have other places to go. We normally ask for 5 to 10 introductions to other families like yourself who you feel deserve to hear the same information. Now, even if you give Tasha the name and number, we want you to speak to them first. If they call or text you back and say, I don't want to meet any 4'11" Asian lady, we will definitely not reach out. But if they're open to a 2-minute phone call, this is what we'll say. So if they're open to a 2-minute meeting, we'll set up a time to meet. But if they aren't interested, we'll just say, okay, thank you for your time. We promise never to embarrass or hurt your credibility, because if we did that, you would never introduce Tasha to anyone else, right?
Right.
Right. So we'll treat them the same way we treated you. Is that fair?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to pass the floor to Tasha. She's going to ask you, who do you know who would deserve to hear this education? And by the way, Samir, side note, guys, I didn't type this in here, so that was my mistake. I'll add it in before I share the presentation with Thomas to share with you guys. But if it's a situation where somebody has a policy I'm replacing, a lot of times I still hear the client think about giving the referral, and one of their reasons why they wouldn't refer somebody is if when they say, oh, I think they already have life insurance, even though I've already done all this breaking down. It's ridiculous, right? People just don't think before they say something. So to alleviate that objection that might even come up from Samir, I'll say, and by the way, Samir, you're a really intelligent father. I mean, if this happened to you and you're that smart, imagine how many other people it could happen to. Does that make sense?
Good question.
Right.
Or statement.
So I'm going to go ahead and pass the floor to Tasha. She's going to ask, who do you know who would deserve to hear this education? All right. Side note, guys. So I'm going to pass the attention to the trainee. The trainee should have numbers 1 to 10 listed on their paper just to kind of fill out as a goal, right? And these are the questions the trainee is going to ask. So by the time you get here, guys, think about it. Shondell did a great job breaking down the policy. We've gotten as far as getting, in this example, a statement from the client. They're willing to talk about what they have. We've already built enough credibility to start asking these questions without hesitation. Because if they're hesitating, you probably haven't gone that far anyways. So Tasha asked, or the trainee asked, so Samir, who do you know who would deserve this education?
James and Liz.
James. Okay, so James and Liz. So how do you know them?
Just friends of mine.
Friends. Okay. They're married, of course, right?
Yeah, they're married.
Okay, awesome. Now, how many kids do they have?
3.
3. Okay. And what's their number?
703, blah, blah, blah.
All right. And who else would deserve to hear this?
Shaq.
Shaq. Okay. Shaq, how do you know him?
He's my best friend.
Best friend. Is he married, engaged, or single?
He's married.
Okay. And how many kids does he have?
3.
3. Okay. And what's his number?
703, blah, blah, blah.
Perfect. And I keep asking, who else? Who else? Who else? Eventually, Samir is going to say, I think that's it that I can think of for now. I'll get back to you if I think about more people. After he says that, I train the trainee to say, okay, thank you so much, Samir. So let's just think about one more person. Let's think of one more person you think would deserve to hear this or need to hear this. Cousin. Josh. Okay, Josh. Is he married, engaged, or
Single.
single? And how do you know him?
We played football together.
Played football? Okay. And how many kids does he have?
None.
None? Okay. And what's his number?
703.
What does he do for work, by the way?
I think he's in college.
You think he's in college? Okay, no worries. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and only reach out to these individuals if you just give me the green light once you reach out to them. And I can send you a text message too to just send it and make it easy. That way you don't have to do too much explaining, right? Again, I'll get on the phone with them if they're open at all, just to make sure that, they're open to even meeting because they're adults. They can make their own decisions, I'm sure. Right?
So you don't say anything if they're unqualified? Because I did that on purpose just to.
Yeah. So I purposely asked, what does he do for work? Because if they're unqualified, I might go deeper, but the trainee doesn't know how to do this, right? Like I might interject in as a trainer later and ask about these people or call the client back just to make sure they gave them a heads up, right? But I'll ask, oh, do you know what he studies for college? Do you know if he works at all? Oh, okay, so he might be looking for maybe an opportunity. Well, remember we were expanding, so how would you describe him as a person? Oh, very motivated. Okay. I'm gonna extend maybe an offer of work experience, and maybe he can do like an internship or get some experience with us before he graduates college. Not sure what he's interested in because it seems like you don't really know either, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I might just kind of flow through like that, guys. I learned from Johnny Arizon under Mario Arizon. That's his brother, by the way. I said, do you meet with people who are unqualified if they're referred to you? Because I don't. And he goes, I do, because I can recruit them. And some of my best recruits are from, emergency contacts that were not qualified. So I actually started getting beneficiaries, still being the beneficiary if they're not as qualified, granted only if they're working, right? And I'll extend, a work opportunity, and 9 times out of 10, they're actually open. I've recruited a couple of non-qualified beneficiary and emergency contacts, just a few. So it's worth it if you know how to transition, but it'll take experience, obviously, guys, and experience only comes with experience. If you pick up the phone and actually set the appointment and go on the appointment, right? You're only going to be frustrated if you yourself don't pick up that phone to set the appointment, and then you have a clear schedule with nothing going on, right? Does that answer that?
Yes.
Yeah. So back to Shondell. So after the referrals are taken, oh, and by the way, if I'm meeting with a client as a one-on-one appointment and I don't have a trainee for whatever reason, and it's not a training appointment, I'll still go through those questions, but I will have the client work on homework and say, Samir, as I run through these numbers and propose put together a proposal for you, I kind of want to give you some homework really quick. I'll run through the referral script and I'll say, while I do this, it's going to take me at least maybe 2 minutes, but I just want you to think of first names only, maybe 5 to 10 first names only that you feel would deserve to hear this education. I don't want to think of any numbers, anything else. I wanted to make it very easy for the client to just think about first names only. And once I'm ready to show the proposal, I say, okay, Samir, I have numbers to show you, but who was the first person you thought about that would deserve to hear this education? And I run through those questions again. Make sense, guys? Okay, cool. Back to you, Shondell.
All right, awesome, guys. So I'm going to show you really quick because when you are creating the proposal, obviously you'll run a quote. So everybody that's licensed, you should know how to pull up a quick quote on your phone, but I also want to show you how to pull up the financial calculator so you can show them how to actually invest the difference. So if you pull up your Primerica app, you have obviously the quick quote option there, quick quote 2.0, but then there's also the financial calculator. So when I ran the quote, it ended up being about, instead of $256, it was like $83, right? So she had freed up money. So here you calculate ending balance, beginning value 0. I just put 9% because she's 36 years old, so she could be aggressive, which 9% is not really that aggressive. And then it was for a 35-year term. So I'm putting in 35 years and whatever the difference is, which is $173 a month. And after 35 years, she'd have $512. Okay. So that's in the financial calculator. So I just wanted to show you where that is. Again, it's on the Primerica app, financial calculator. So now let me bring up what I'm actually going to show the client. Okay, so I just use Google Docs, Google Sheets, and I just type this up really quick. So again, it looks professional, just like what you guys have seen Jen do these past couple weeks. But when you show this to them, right, they have a Transamerica Index Universal Life. $350,000 is what the client had, $256 a month. We don't know what the investment is going to be, and the policy probably will lapse. Versus if we look at our option, Samir, we can give you $350,000, same thing, for $83 a month. You invest that difference, $173. Now you have $512,000 after 35 years, which she would have been 71 years old at that point. So in that situation, Samir, which one do you think would be better for you?
Definitely the term.
The term. Perfect. So what I like to do, Samir, do you remember when your premium usually comes out for your current policy?
Usually the first. So I just paid it.
Okay, so you just paid it. So we have a little bit of time, but usually what I like to do is see if we can at least get you applied and approved for this coverage as soon as possible, so you don't have to make another premium payment into your current policy. That you would agree, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I like to do is see if we can apply. All I'm going to need is your driver's license and account and routing number, and I'm going to ask you a couple medical questions just like they did previously. Okay.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So that question that I asked guys about the premium, I've always started asking that, especially when somebody has a policy, because that can help create urgency. If somebody figures out that they have a terrible policy, hopefully they're not going to want to make another premium payment into that. So we want to try to apply as soon as possible so we can get them approved, right? And in this situation, if the client was applying, they will have to do medical exams. So we definitely want to get that done ASAP. So that's what I would do to quote, show the difference and show the proposal and then get them moving forward. Now, Jen's just going to briefly show you guys how much money you guys can make just by knowing this information and how to close this sale.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Compensation, guys, easy peasy. So really quick, if you were to learn exactly what Shondell was able to do, without all the other side explanations for you guys to know the psychology behind all of it, it will only take you maybe half an hour to break down a policy and show them how to buy, term, invest the difference, and take the application. And that's outside of actually presenting, right? But that $83 a month app, you multiply that by 12 months to get your yearly premium. And that will be $996 of the yearly premium. Whatever the yearly premium is, you take that and multiply that by your contract level, and that will equal your full comp. Now, as a district leader, you're at a 50% contract. District leader is the first promotion that you would receive or earn that says basically you're independent and you can do things without your trainer, right? You can close without your trainer, make money without your trainer. At $996, but by 50%, that's basically $500 in less than an hour that you're making, or about an hour of your, talking about presenting and closing on the first. But still, even in an average hour, I mean, what I used to make being at, let's see, my old jobs, And I know minimum wage has changed a little bit, but, and I do this on purpose with you guys because some people, they don't see the numbers in front of them, but I used to make $10 average an hour. That would have taken somebody 50 hours to make versus an hour license with their first license here. But when you get promoted to regional leader, where you've proven you can train other people to be district leaders under you, as a regional leader, if you were to do that on your own pen, $996 times 70% of a contract is almost $700 you make in that same hour, the same hour, which now you have replaced a good 70 hours at a regular job, more or less. Isn't that crazy? So think about that whenever you guys have a license or you guys have somebody that is getting licensed. There should never be a time where you feel bad about recruiting somebody to train them on how to make more money than their job will ever pay them. Plus, they can do it whenever they want to. But the goal is, guys, and this is, I believe, is a magic number in the company. I heard it from Blake Widow years ago when he did a qualifier Zoom with us. And he's under Bill Widow, $1 million a year earner. But he said, if you press submit 20 times in a month, you press submit 20 times in a month, you would never have money issues. So I have made a decision since then to get to a point where I press submit 20 times in a month. That's an automatic $10,000 or more of personal premium, depending on what type of market you're in. But if you just press submit 20 times a month, that's an automatic $10,000 a month personal premium, automatic. It's just like when you compete for the trip, like Samir said, and you are accidentally building a business. This is an automatic or pretty much accidental $10,000 personal premium. So it's pretty cool to kind of keep your head down and look up. And I'm going to pass it back to Samir if you have any last comments before we go to Blitz.
Cool. That was awesome, guys. I really appreciate you, going through that. Role playing is the best type of training because, Jen can't take everybody in the organization on an appointment. Shondell can't take everybody in the organization on an appointment, but this is the best way for you to see what are they doing? How are they getting these results? And when Jen, number one, we learned from Shondell, she knows how to read a policy and she's prepared. If the client doesn't have their own policy, she has one that she can bring up. So those are all files that we can share with everybody if you're ever in that situation. And then with Jen, there's a process for referrals. It's not just asking for it, but there's a process before, during, after. And then she has specific questions that she can ask. So this is going to be recorded. Go watch it, go annotate it, go put it in your notebook, have those questions there. And I like what Jen does. I mean, she has the questions versus memorizing it. She has it on a different device. So even if you feel like you can't remember, we're on Zoom. You could have the questions in front of you on a piece of paper, right? But there has to be, if you want to be effective in any area of the business, there has to be a process, right? So great job. We are done with training today. Next week is Super Saturday. And then the week after that is going to be a compliance meeting, which is a mandatory training that every licensed agent has to attend. So there won't be standard training the next 2 weeks. It's going to be Super Saturday next week, which is going to be at the office, physically in person. And we'll put that on Zoom for people who are out of state. And then after that, we're going to have the annual compliance meeting. So let's go ahead and set up a ton of appointments. And then remember that Bruce is doing his full-timers meeting 10 a.m. Monday Eastern time. Okay. See you guys then. Thanks so much.